through the process of creating a group synchronization using the messagelabs tool. In this demo, we will synchronize both users and groups from a single domain. Before creating your own group sync, it is recommended that you read and understand the options available to you from the administration guide. To begin with, we will look at registering the tool. From the Edit menu, select the Settings option. This will display the license screen from which you need to select the Add License option. The license key and username is available from the Tool section in ClientNet. Note you will need a separate license key if you intend to use the synchronization tool for email user registration. Once you have entered the license key, you can begin to create your configuration. Press the New button to begin the process. Give the configuration a name which is meaningful to you. Then you will need to select the type of synchronization you wish to perform. An important note is that to enable user and group level granularity for the web security service, you will need to create both a group and a user synchronization separately. For the purpose of this demonstration, we will start with a group sync. Select the group option from the synchronization type drop-down and then press Next. Once you have selected the synchronization type, you need to select the source for the information. Presently, the service is supported for customers with Microsoft Active Directory. Although it is possible to create synchronizations for other directory types, these only work within the user registration service, not with the web security services. If you do not have Active Directory, then you will not be able to enable user and group level granularity. Once you have selected Active Directory, press Next. The next stage is to enter the hostname or IP address of your directory server. Note this may not be the same as your Exchange server. Next, enter a username which will be used to carry out the searches. Note the username you enter must have the same access rights as a domain administrator in order to be able to search the domain. It is recommended that you create a separate account in Active Directory for this function and set the password on the account never to expire. Otherwise, if the account password changes, the group sync tool will stop functioning. Once you have entered the username and password in the format shown, press the Next button. The other options shown on this page are for advanced configuration, and you should refer to the Web Security Services Administration Guide for more information. This next screen allows you to direct the tool to search the part of your Active Directory which contains your groups. Note that you may not start your search in the root for security reasons. Other options on this page are for more advanced configuration. If you have a single domain within your organization, it is recommended that you start your search at the domain level, shown in this example by dc equals messagelabs, dc equals com. If you have multiple top-level domains within your company, you'll need to add them to the configuration one at a time. For further information about multiple domain models, please refer to the administration guide. Once you have selected the base for your search, press the Next button. The test screen will give confirmation that the tool has successfully been able to locate group information using the specified query. The next stage of the process is to select the repository for the data. There are two options available, one to publish the information to ClientNet and the other to save it to a local file. It is recommended that when you create a configuration for the first time, you select File, so that you can manually check the output. This demonstration will show synchronization with a file. Once you have selected the File option, select Next. Then use the folder icon to define where you want to keep the information. The file name for the group synchronization will be the name of the configuration appended with groups.txt. The tool will also create an additions and deletions file. These files exist so that if the service is run in update mode, then we can easily see what was added and deleted each time the tool is run. The Filters section is for advanced users and allows you to exclude unwanted groups from the synchronization or change the format of the name. Threshold limits can be included for safety purposes and will cause the tool to halt and cause an error if more than the set number of entries are created as shown. Notifications may be sent each time the tool runs. You can select a level of detail from a summary to a fine log level. Be aware that the fine log level will include a complete log of the synchronization and may be of a considerable size. Once you have configured the notifications, press Next. This final screen allows you to verify that all of the settings you have entered are correct. If you have configured email notification, they will be sent. If you have configured the tool to connect to messagelabs, it will test the ClientNet username and password you have entered. Successful elements of the verification will appear as ticks. Issues will be shown with crosses, and any settings which have not been defined have dashes against them. Once you have defined a group synchronization, you will be prompted to create an associated user sync. This runs through exactly the same screens as previously. Till the search configuration screen, which will now be set to look for user information instead of groups. The test screen will now show user information. The file which is created for testing will be called configuration name appended with users.txt. The tool will now report that you have completed a user and group synchronization. To thoroughly test the configuration, you can now use the Test Update button, which will carry out the synchronization without making any changes to the file or to the configuration held by messagelabs. After pressing Test Update, select which parts of the process you wish to test. The update will then run. You will see on the screen a list of all of the additions, deletions, changes and exclusions which would have occurred if the tool had been live. Note that the first time that you run this, all of your users and groups will appear in the Additions section. To view the log, select the View menu and the Log option. This will allow you to see the full log file for the synchronization. You can alter the amount of time the log files are kept in the same settings screen that was used to enter the license key. To return to the configuration screen, select Configuration from the View menu. You will now have successfully completed the creation of your first synchronization. Once you are certain that this is working correctly, you will need to modify the configuration to synchronize the data with messagelabs instead of with a file. You may now manually update messagelabs with your Active Directory changes by running the synchronization tool and selecting Update. If you wish to automate the process to run periodically, please refer to the section in the administration guide which explains the use of Windows Scheduler.